Hey, this is Jason Cass, back with another one. We had a panel podcast yesterday, or a panel, hangout yesterday. Keep in mind that was for Agents Influence. That was a special thing that we do just every once in a while, and it was bad timing on mine to put them back to back to each other. But I know there's a lot of people that like that. This is The Grow Show starring Jason and Joey. So we've got Joey, and if you've seen it, hey, Joey, say hi.
Hello, Jason. How are you today?
Yeah, pretty good. And to all the listeners out there, Joey says hi and Jason says hi. So appreciate that. Today we've got, if you keep in mind what the Grow Show is about, this is our second episode. And what we're going to make this about is we are going to obviously make it about social and digital marketing and social and digital business. Keep in mind it's everything from A to Z that you're going to do in your agency today and in the future that's going to make you successful. It's just not social and digital marketing. We will be talking about social and digital a lot when it comes to marketing, but not always. The key to what we do here at Grow Show is we want to make sure that people that grow understand and know about insurance inbound marketing, and we want to also make sure that insurance inbound marketing knows about Grow. And so that's one of the ways. They're both communities. They're both here to help agents, and we think that by working together, we actually know that by working together, we'll be some more successful. So every 2 weeks, we'll have this show, the second and the fourth. Am I saying that right? The second and the fourth Wednesday at about 12 o'clock Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern. And we're going to be polling some posts from Insurance Inbound Marketing. So today we've got a post that we're going to discuss. Joey, is there anything that you want to talk about or say to the viewers? And also keep in mind to everybody that this is also being recorded and will be put into the Agents Influence podcast feed. So there could be some people listening instead of watching now or at a later time. Joey?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just excited to get going. I'm a little under the weather today, so I'll try and keep it up to par with the Jason Cass energy level. I'll try my best, but no guarantees on not sucking a little bit today.
I guarantee you'll do fine, Joey. And the other thing is that I really do have some allergies as well, but ironically enough, maybe it's grow power. It's just kind of receded a little bit. So let's get right on with the topic for today, because I think it's going to be a good one. Keep in mind, obviously, we try to use topics that are going to generate the most feedback. So obviously, it just makes sense that we would use that same feedback, or we would use that post, and realizing that it would get engagement and feedback off of our listeners. Please be sure to comment. Joey and I will be checking over on those comments to bring some of your questions in, because I think you're going to find a lot of things here that's going to be interesting. I'm going to maybe butcher his name a little bit, but his name is Brett Coors. I believe that is it. I feel confident saying that. And we're going to pull his post out today because he had one that was really, really good. And what it has to do with is it says, here's his exact post. On Twitter, what insurance agencies seem to be doing it well as far as reaching their target market, parentheses, versus just hobnobbing with fellow insurance agents, good call, Brett, unparentheses. Now, do you have any examples? I see agents that seem to do well, but I'm curious about agencies themselves. So I think the way that Joey and I have discussed this is we want to tackle this head on to what the topic is, but you're going to probably see that it's going to morph into something else, because I think Joey and I can answer this question and be pretty confident in giving a good answer to all of you out there with the answer we're going to give probably in about 10 minutes or so. We look forward to your comments, though, to tell Joey and I where we're wrong. Keep in mind, it's just not about Joey and I. We're just enabling and allowing you to have the platform, but we want your voice to be able so we can echo it and help other agents out there. So, Joey, I'm going to turn this kind of over to you initially, and I'd like to get your response and your feedback on what Brett's saying there.
Yeah, I mean, and this comes down to, I mean, really ultimately what he's asking, it's a question of personal versus agency branding, you know, as far as, you know, taking that into the social spaces, I think, you know. And my experience, I have not had much success in Twitter or any other really social platform branding it as the agency. It always has worked better for me just being myself, my own personal profiles and things like that. Not to say that I've really pushed it a ton. I just that's how I like to do it. I'd rather them want to, you know, connect with me, and then if they connect with the agency down the road. But ultimately, that's what social media is all about: is connecting with that person. And I'm of the opinion, you know, company branding is something that may or may not make it, you know, in the next 10, 15 years or whatever. I mean, some do it well, not too many do it. for insurance agents, doing it on the social platforms is just more of a redundancy than anything, I would say, because I mean, you're not going to provide. Now, you're a big Facebook guy, I guess, Jason. So you might have some opportunities there on Facebook to connect with people in a way that is a little bit different than your personal page, possibly. Sharing some company photos of time at the office and clients and things like that. But ultimately, I mean, you're going to be sharing the same stuff. Would I be wrong in that?
No, 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 no. You're exactly right, and I love your interpretation of that because I've got something here, Joey. That this actually just came to me yesterday around 3:30. You pulled out about personal and business brand, and I got something that I want to share with you and share with everybody that's brand new to me. And you got to tell me if I'm wrong or I'm right because I really think I got something. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. But to answer this question of this post and to add on to what Joey's saying, we control a lot of social accounts for insurance agents at Grow. And I have to tell you that we usually post to Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, and Twitter. We by far get the least amount of engagement for Twitter. Whenever I'm doing presentations, I tell agents that's probably the one you need to concentrate on the least. Now, I get a lot of push. I've gotten some minor pushback, usually, ironically enough, from the 25, 26 years and younger. And what I found out about that is that they use it in a different way, which if your friends are using it, my son, he's 15 years old. He uses it a lot. If they keep using that when they're 20 and 30 and 20, 21, 22, 23, and I'm trying to get them at 25, if that's the communication they use, then we might want to go there. Today, not. What's the exception to that? I would say urban. Urban areas of the agencies we do get more engagement than those in the rural area, but it's still way under the engagement they get on a Facebook or a LinkedIn. I will tell you they even are starting to get more engagement on a Google+, but that's another here or there. But to answer it specifically for Twitter, that's what I see. Did that answer your question, Joey? Is that you think that what he's wanting?
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's I think his biggest thing was do I do it as myself or do I do it as the agency? And I think his ultimately talking about Twitter, and I take for me personally, and this is I don't consider myself a social media expert by any stretch of the imagination. So I want to make sure that is very clear. I think that you should approach the social networks to whatever kind of relates to you. Which ones do you like to use? Which ones do you communicate the best on? And go that way.
That's right.
I cannot stand LinkedIn. It just depresses me all day, every day, and I just hate it. I mean, even though it's probably a great place to be, I want nothing to do with it. And I don't really spend a lot of time there. And, it is what it is. You could be saying, Joe, you're an idiot. Why are you listening to me? Why did Jason even have you on this podcast? Because that's just how I go about it. So I focus on
I will never say that.
I'll never say never, but I focus on Google+, Twitter, because I like Twitter from just a casual, real-time kind of conversation, the immediacy of it, just my personal communication, which I feel, again, if I'm branding myself as the personal agent, just me being out there to be able to connect in that real manner. But it's not driving business, and I think that's what everybody wants it to ultimately do. Is they want to say, well, is this going to drive business? And I think that's the first mistake we make on these platforms is. That's our first intention. That should be our second, third, fourth, even last intention. It's just how do we best communicate on these platforms with the people we're trying to reach?
Yes. Now, if you say that you feel as if he was trying to figure out the personal brand versus that, you are correct. He does get that more in depth in the comments, and I got to tell you, I wrote like a book out here on the comments now that I look at it. But here's what I do want to say. Okay, here's my thought. Now, you guys tell me if I'm wrong. Joey's never even heard this either. This is what happens sometimes when you actually have 3 glasses of wine rather than 2. And here is my thought. If I put out awareness branding, we're going to talk about business branding and personal branding. If I put out, and then to me, there's 2 types of advertising. There's general awareness advertising where I want people to connect with me, connect more with my business, which is where I'm going. And then there's more niche branding where I want to kind of brand myself more individual. Now, there could possibly be some other advertising and marketing opportunities, but as a general from 30,000 foot, that's the way that I see it. And so My thought is if I'm going to do a brand, I don't always. Now, there's exceptions to this, and there's a lot of exceptions. But I don't always, and I feel the mass majority of the time, you're going to want to advertise your brand on an awareness basis, as opposed to you would want to brand yourself personally on a niche basis. So there's exceptions to that rule, but let's use it in context of the real world. I don't really think you're going to go after a lot of niche marketing if you go after onto the radio or to the newspaper or to a billboard. It's more just general awareness, see my logo, just know that we're here. So I wouldn't say that you couldn't personally brand yourself that way. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the majority of it, I believe, is a business brand when we're doing awareness advertising and marketing. When we're doing niche advertising and marketing, I think we have more of a personal brand usage. So let's take that one step deeper. So when we look at these different platforms, they all have those issues of being used as an awareness platform or a business branding as a niche platform. Does that make sense, Joey?
Yeah, no, I would not fight you on that at all.
Okay. So where I'm going here is let's look at Twitter. This is where we're really going to hopefully get some confrontation and people telling me I'm wrong or right. And that is that I believe Twitter, in this regards, per this post, is more of an awareness brand rather than a niche brand. Starting there, Joey, am I wrong?
I see where it's logical. Yeah.
Okay.
I could get down. I got a few. Well, I'll hear you out. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
I'll hear you out.
I want to get your opinion as we go because there's a lot of people telling us that we're wrong right now, and that's what we want. Now, the Facebook, me personally, I know for a fact, that is the most, you can use it as just a business brand, or you can use it as a personal brand, because you definitely can you can definitely brand just, basically putting your logo on a Facebook post and then posting it out, or maybe using a blog as general awareness just to answer a general question. You can really do that. Keep in mind, if you ever make a blog post and it's going to use an image, you can't have any more than 20% text, or you can't actually turn it into an ad. Little freebie here at the Grow Show. So I want you to kind of know that. So if me personally, I use it about 20% branding and I use it about 80% niche. This is where I think that I'm having success with Facebook when others aren't. They're trying to use it as a brand for their business and not so much niche, and they're wondering why. But let's say that everything in the real world happens in the virtual world. So how many more leads are you going to get off you putting a basic ad in the newspaper as opposed to you writing an article on a specific niche and then putting it into a newspaper? You're going to probably get more engagement where people are going to call you, but are also probably going to talk to you on the street corner about reading that. So that builds your personal brand. You can do the same with Facebook or the other. LinkedIn, to me, totally individual niche. Totally individual niche and individual advertising. Right now, could change. LinkedIn business pages suck. Okay, they're terrible. You don't get any I mean, it's just not good. I've tried them for months and months. I've talked to other agents who have tried them. We don't even hold those profiles at Grow. We don't even help you with them. We just do your personal branding for you. And I would say Google Plus, right now, it's almost like Facebook to me. I think you could really use it for niche. Actually, I know you can. You could use it for personal branding. It's just right now that you could use it for business branding, but right now I don't think the overall consumer who sees my brand of JDC Insurance Group on Google Plus is as strong, I think, is where it could be other platforms. I'm going to shut up now, but that was my thought as to answer this question, because, Joey, I get this question a lot through emails. I get this a lot at presentations. Where should I use my Facebook? Should I use my Facebook page as my page, my business, JDC Insurance Group, or should I use it as Jason Cass? It depends on if it's awareness or depends on if it's niche. Joey, go.
Now let me clear something up just to make sure I understand you correctly here. Are you saying using your company Facebook page, should you use it as just the business, or use it as if you were posting as yourself to the business page? Does that make any sense?
Say it again, because it does and it doesn't. Say that again.
So, all right. So you were saying like, should I use my Facebook business page or my Facebook personal page? So let's say, when you're talking about the differences, are you saying should me, let's say Joey Giangola, use the Giangola Insurance Agency Facebook page, and should I post it as I'm posting to, like, if it were my own personal page and incorporate company business? Or are you saying you should just always post company, like, with that kind of third
Yes.
person narrative?
Okay. All right. I got you now. You always want to use your business page for doing any of the posting. We want to keep Joey Giangola as totally separate from the Giangola agency. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
You tell me that 10 times, and you know me, I don't have a good memory. But
Yeah.
then Giangola agency. So we always want to be posting as the Giangola agency. Okay, this over here is Joey. This is our friends. This is our wife, Sharon, kid, facts, whatever. Now, what we do have another option to do is we can go create Joey Giangola as a public figure, and I have done that as well. So you could really use that personal brand. Let me flip back though. On Facebook specifically, I use JDC Insurance Group for general brand awareness, and I use JDC Insurance Group as actual niche. Because when I'm going to niche out a railroad contract or a social service, I'm going to create a blog, and that's a place I'm going to share it. I'm then going to take that blog post that has I'm going to then take that post on Facebook that has my link to the blog, and then I'm going to then turn that into an ad that I'm going to hit specific people on. So if it's about railroad contractors, I'm going to niche that ad to only be seen to railroad contractors. We can do this with any niche out there, folks. But then there's also just general posts I do on JDC that are nothing more than ha-ha, and I throw my logo in there, and it's just general awareness, but it's all being done on the Facebook page. Does that answer that, Joey, what you're saying?
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure that you weren't like suggesting like to post as like a specific individual on the company's page or use that. So like that whole, and then you toss in the whole idea of creating a page for the personal brands. Like if I was to create Joey Jingle the page, that's where my head explodes, and it's just I think it's too much. I think we're really overthinking it at that point.
I can say that we are overthinking it, but the key is, and the reason why Facebook is a little different, you have to kind of overthink it, is Facebook is all about personal. That's what Facebook, they try to put that firewall in there between business and personal. They'll allow personal to go on business pages, but you can't have business pages go on personal unless they have public settings, and their settings are different, but majority of the time you can't. So that's just really important. That's why sometimes the public figure works well, because if you're kind of known as the guy who does railroad or social services, and I haven't taken advantage of this as much as I should be posting that on Jason DCAS as opposed to Jason Cass. Now, I will tell you something else that works well, kind of falls right into this discussion, Joey. Happens to be that what you can do, and I tell agents do this once or twice a month. You don't want to do it a lot, but when you get something that poses a lot of engagement on your page. So if you go look at my page, I posted something last week. Actually, last week was really good. I had one post that had like 16 shares, tons of likes, got a ton of comments, and then I had another one that did. I took one of those and I shared it onto my personal page, and then I promoted it on my personal page. It's two things that happened there. First of all, I shared it over onto my personal page, so they see that I shared it from JDC Insurance Group. Then when I promoted it, it goes to about 70-80% of all my friends. Keep in mind that when you do a post on your personal profile, it's still only going to 20-30%. A business page is probably seeing around 2, 5, 10% of its fans, and personal seeing about 60, 70, 80% of your friends. If you promote it, okay, so you got to promote it to see 60, 70% of your fans, or your friends, excuse me. So why that's important is when your friends now see more of JDC, but they also see a post that you shared that already has a lot of engagement, which leads them to believe, hey, this is something I probably want to look into or I want to engage with. Very, very big key there. Did I make that clear, Joey?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull up something up here. I'm gonna share my screen with everybody. This is just straight information. Um, Now you could make the argument that I'm not using certain platforms to the best of my ability, which is probably very true. But what you're looking at here, this is back end in our dashboard in HubSpot. And this tells you when you post to your different social profiles, it tells you the number of people that have come to your site, the percentage of which they converted to contacts, and then ultimately become customers. The customers thing is I haven't worked it out to like actually track properly because people just pick up the phone and call me. I haven't figured that out how to work that conversion, but hands down, you can see at 17.2%, YouTube is by far the highest converting social platform of any of the ones that we use. Doesn't get nearly as much traffic. Twitter has that edge at 356 visits over the last year and a half. Facebook at 351 right behind it, but Facebook has an abysmal conversion at 0.9% for us. And I've pretty much stopped using Facebook entirely for the last probably I'd say 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And Twitter is at 1.1%. The next best converting is Google Plus to contact. So people that have seen something on Google Plus come to our site and filled out a form to become a lead. That's at 3.8%. So I mean, I just go by those numbers, and that's kind
Billy,
of
would
all.
you do me a favor? Oh, okay, never mind.
What's up?
Sorry about that. Okay, wow, that is cool, and that is really, really cool to know. And keep in mind, I think Joey would agree with me, those results are based on the effort that Joey puts in. Joey, you probably would agree. You started seeing some results, and you narrowed it down to say, here's where I'm getting my best engagement, so I'm going to keep working that channel the most. As opposed to I, on the opposite of Facebook, saw it there, so that's why I work that channel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's going to be different for everybody. I think the goal of this conversation is to make them aware that, like, listen, you need to find your YouTube, you need to find your Facebook, whichever one works for you, do it, and do it more, and do it better, and focus on that. And I mean, dabble with the other ones that keep your interest, but there's nothing that says you have to be awesome at every single one. That's probably the worst thing you can do.
That is one of the worst things you can do, because when you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none. And believe me, that comes through to the consumer if they see that you're not using that, if they see that you're not comfortable using that. So a lot of times I see that that's where people fail on Facebook. Now let me see here, but also I see people fail a lot because they don't realize it's actually a huge niche platform. So we kind of answered a lot of this stuff, what Brett was kind of asking here, and then I believe Brett is getting ready to watch. So Brett, if you have any discussion, I know you jumped in a little bit late to watch it, and you know, he was intrigued by the Facebook thing. We also have Agency Nation, which also came on here and did some commenting. Please be sure to look at Agency Nation. That's a very powerful force that's up and coming. But Agency Nation also gave some examples here. And he said here, oh, actually, this is Brett responding. He said, my target niche, nonprofits, I've had some success with Twitter. First, I started much earlier and have had a decent base of followers. Another big key. Some of us that started a long time obviously are going to see more engagements. I've been doing this 55 months. That's the reason why I'm seeing engagement where you've been doing it for 10 to 14 months and are. Keep in mind, I didn't sell a policy off Facebook until at least 14 months in. I've been able to focus on finding nonprofit leaders and other nonprofit service providers to connect with. I'd guess the Insure My Food Truck Twitter account has the same ability to laser focus. So what Agency Nation was talking about earlier in the comments is that you can use it to niche out your business. So see, that goes back to some of the stuff I said. That's why I said it wasn't overall awareness, but that's the way my agency uses it. Agency Nation, which is ran by TrustedChoice.com, speaking there, I'm willing to bet, is Ryan Hanley. He's basically saying he was having success using Twitter to do some minor niching. So I just thought that was. And here's the most important thing before I close out on this comment. I love what agency. It was Brett. Brett said this. I can definitely see how a niched out product who has an S&M plan, social media plan, to supplement the normal 1.0 scale and networking efforts can really build an online referral engine. The puzzle I'm working through is tackling it from an agency without a content plan, although I'm messaging the whole agency a blog WordPress approach versus the standard insurance company. We're the trusted choice advisor, and it's what we do, billboard stuff. So I can definitely agree with Brent on that one. And I'm going to come over here and say, okay, Brent actually just put a comment. He said he said he can't get into the Hangout, but he's going to check it when he can, and he's going to pass it along. So that'll be fantastic, Brett. If you do have any comments, please post them to the Insurance Inbound Marketing, and we'll try and pick up on any of that for next Grow Show. Joey, anything that you kind of wanted to add to some of that?
I mean, I think we covered it pretty good. I mean, and one of the things that we wanted to do in this show was kind of take the overall kind of strategy approach to start, and then kind of really hammer down into
Right.
actual implementation of this. I feel like we did a little bit of that throughout. We kind of weave that in a little bit. I don't know if there's any more kind of, if you want to drill down and kind of get more specific on how to kind of execute some of this stuff.
We can, when we're talking specifically about Twitter. I don't think you and I are the game players for that. So, I mean, we could drill down into.
Well,
Um,
I think what we should do is take both of our social platforms of choice and kind of talk about how we use them to maybe brand ourselves.
well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty shy, so I don't really like to talk about what I'm doing. No, I mean, I can show you guys a lot of different things into what you're doing. And Joey, what I'd like to do, if I could, is I'd like for you to start with some stuff. And the reason why is I'm not pushing it off to you. I'm going to jump over onto my computer, grab some results and some things that I do, and then I'm going to share them on my screen. That sound cool?
That'll work.
All right, fantastic. So just listen to Joey. He's worth listening to anyways.
All right. Well, so I mean, basically, the whole goal of this and the kind of the twist I wanted to take on this conversation was being successful socially. Whether it's Twitter, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Google Plus, whether it's YouTube, it's how do you become successful in whatever area that you want to be. And for me, like I said, it's been YouTube. For whatever reason, about 2 years ago, so I've been doing videos for a long time. So about 2 years-ish plus probably, I've been doing videos on YouTube, and I saw a lot of people starting to connect with that. And doing what we do, insurance, it's a traditional face-to-face business. Well, what is the best way to translate that onto the web? Well, in my opinion, it's video. So,
Good call. Good call.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do. I mean, ultimately, what Grow, what Agency Nation, what any of us is talking about is how do we translate the traditional insurance agent model onto the web. And sitting face-to-face, I made this analogy in a talk that I gave to some insurance agents. I said, this is the new kitchen table. You would sit across the table from somebody,
I like that.
and you would talk to them face to face. You drink their terrible coffee, and then you would go home. And that's how it's done now. They're gonna watch you in their own living room on their own time, and you don't have to do anything but go play golf on the golf course after you've made your video. And this happens around the clock all the time. People will find you, watch your videos. And by the time they decide to pick up the phone and call you, they already know everything they need to know about you, if they like you, if your approach is going to work with them. And basically, they've taken you for a test drive. It's their free trial of sorts. And that's been my whole approach with the video. And that's why I focus so much on YouTube. And I've seen such, like I told you, that I've seen the results of people actually converting. And people will just, again, pick up the phone and say, I've watched so many of your videos, I feel like I know you, which is very weird if it ever happens. It creeps me out. But, I mean, it's a good thing to have happen. And that's kind of, that's what you want to be building towards, whether it's, in Twitter, whether it's in Facebook. You just want to make that connection with somebody and make them feel like they know who you are before they contact you.
Yeah, I really, be honest with you, I've never really seen it. I really thought about it from that point of view, but that actually makes total sense. Okay. And you know what? I mean, it's kind of like what Hanley does. He does that mailbag, and I've seen other agents do it, and I think it's very effective because he does the thing where he stands in front of you and he got a letter from a client about this or that, or the CSRs or the forward-facing people in the agency got this question or continue to get this question, and so he answers it online for 30 seconds to a minute. There's one he did a long time ago where he did 100 videos in 100 days, and if you've ever seen him speak, he'll show you his case study where it just ginormously went up, and he did it all off YouTube. And then he's got some new ones out now that he does the mailbag, and he saw good conversions in those. So I think that goes back to exactly what Joey's saying. The other thing is we got to lower our ego a little bit. Thinking that just because I did a blog post on does someone need rental car insurance, some people don't like to read. In the world we live in today, about 10% of them can't read in America. So but what they can do is they can press play on a video. So what I'm saying that is sometimes we think, oh, well, I already did a blog on that. That doesn't mean anything. That means we need to do a video as well. If someone happens to read the video and the blog at the same time, it's not like they're going to be mad and go, oh, man, I can't believe that agency, they're doubling up. No, they're going to say, wow, they're really doing what they can.
Let me jump in here on this because I've gotten some pushback from Ryan and others on this too. I do every blog post is a video and every video is a blog post. So I write the blog post that is the script for the video, if you will, and the video gets embedded into the blog post and it's double dipped. So
Sweet.
Again, like you said, people want to read, some people don't want to read, and the next usually the next objection I get on YouTube a lot is well, it's hard to convert. I would say I doubt that because you just don't have a strong enough call to action, or you're not entertaining or interesting enough for them to care enough about you. And that, I think, is the biggest problem that people fail to understand is they think just because I'm telling them what I know that they're ultimately going to want to call me. No, they're not going to call you unless you, again, allow them to get to know you and want to call you. And that comes by being yourself, being entertaining, yet informative at the same time. And people are so afraid, especially in insurance, to be anywhat entertaining. You don't have to be over the top, like slipping on banana peels, like entertaining. Like that's not what I'm talking about. But I mean, I'm very sarcastic and witty, so I mean, I don't hold back from that. I just throw that into the videos whenever I can, and I just know that I need to entertain somebody for 3 to 5 minutes, and I also need to tell them what they need to know about their health insurance, and that's been my my formula, if you will.
And obviously, I mean, you just saw his results. It works. And you said something there that I wanted to hit on there, Joey. It was really good. You said, I can't think of what you said there. You said something that really caught my attention that I wanted to speak on because you were talking about the conversion, putting the blog post in there, and then people. Oh yeah, it's about being too serious. I mean, we are so serious in this industry, it's ridiculous. And you know what? That's why a lot of people don't do business with you. Yeah, you've got those people who are serious out there, but there's more people out there that are not serious. And so, I mean, I tell you what, it has to do more than with my social and digital marketing. I act that way with my staff. Now, there's a time to be serious, but 80% of the time, we're in here trying to have fun. Hey, we're all in here together. We all have clients that are awesome. We all have clients that are absolutely a headache. We all have times where we got too much of a workload. We have a lot of times where there's not enough, and we're having a party. We're having a good time. The other thing is with my underwriters. I mean, I do the same thing. I have underwriters tell me all the time. They say, I love talking with you. You're full of energy, but yet you don't take this too seriously. There's a time when we need to sit down and we need to talk seriously about coverages and what the company's assessing and what another company's assessing and why and so forth with rate. But most of the time when we're discussing the description of the operations, when we're talking about certain specifics of the risk, don't make it so boring for them. And I will also tell you that you're going to get a better success and you're going to get your underwriters to do things that maybe they normally wouldn't do when you call all serious and blah, 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 blah. And so I want you to think of that. That overflows with your consumers as well. And talk to them like you're talking to a friend. And if you can't talk to them that way, well, then you're going to have problems because that's the way that people want to be communicated today. So Joey is exactly right on what he is saying there. Joey, do you use that method with your underwriters or anything? You kind of, I mean, rather than sweet talking, I'm actually being funny.
I mean, I will. I throw people off sometimes. Like you probably know, like you don't know if I'm joking or if I'm serious sometimes. So if you don't know if you haven't talked to me a lot, so it takes a little bit to get used to. But I'm like this with anybody I meet. So it usually throws them off for a little bit, but once they kind of figure it out, they get it. Few people just don't get me at all, and then we just have an awkward time. But I get past that. But I think the biggest thing to keep in mind, and obviously we're talking about serious, not serious, the biggest thing that is so important is that, yes, you want to be funny and entertaining or whatever, but you also need to be very, very good at what you do, and you need to then show them after you've done entertaining them, you also need to like put the hammer down and say, look, I know this better than anybody else that you're going to come across. And that, I think, is, again, it's just a whole confidence level across the board. I'm not confident enough to be entertaining and funny, and I'm not confident enough to be, tell you when I'm being the expert. And to know those, just it's just a kind of a very fluid. I don't want to say art form. That's probably blowing our horns a little too much. But it is. It's more of a fluid kind of thing that you have to be aware of while you're creating this stuff.
You do, and you just got to be yourself. I mean, God, we're told that all the time, and sometimes we think that that doesn't apply, as you're saying, to this, and it like totally applies to the same thing. It's actually probably even more important to what we're talking about. So I got a couple things here, Joey, and the only reason why, and excuse me to the listeners and to the viewers, I've got this presentation up with some of my stuff, but I wanted to find my most recent. Oh, here it is, right here. This is my most recent numbers. So what I want to do is I want to talk to you and show you guys some of these numbers that I have. And these are brand new numbers. So, and then I also want to show you a couple things about how we actually make all this rock. I'm going to take you back here just a second to some numbers. And so when we're talking about Facebook and we're talking about the different things, he talks about YouTube, I talk about Facebook. I do talk about Facebook a lot. If you are aware, I talk about Facebook a whole lot. And the reason why is because I've had huge success. And actually, like Joey has, is actual people picking up the phone and calling me. Okay? I mean, real true success. And something that not a lot of people know, I insure one of the Australian Blackhawks because of Facebook. I mean, I can't explain it to you. It's an unbelievable thing. He found me. He saw me. He saw my Facebook page. He knew I was in Illinois. He was coming from Canada. He located me. He said, "Hey, I'm going to be in Rockford, which is where their AAA team is." He immediately got moved right up to the Blackhawks, and I know that he's a starter. I don't know if he always is because I don't know hockey. Okay, but he's asked me not to use his name. These are real life things that happen. And so what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to show you some results of actual what I've had, and I think it's as of 9/1 because I'm doing a presentation here next week in St. Louis. And so I've got some brand new stuff here. But I'm also going to show you my expenses. And I think it's really important for you to know. And then I'm going to talk about some actual practical things that you can do to kind of get some of these results. You ready, Joey? You think that's good?
I'm here for you.
All right, buddy. Joey showed some results, so I got to show some results. I got to stay cool like Joey, you know. So, anyways, so here we go. So we have this screen share here, and what I'm going to screen share with you. Let me make that bigger for you so that you guys can actually see it here. Let me go there. Let me go here. All right. Now, all right, it ain't going to work that way, so that's okay. All right, so let me share my screen here. Doodly-doo. Share screen. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay. So this screen, I don't know, Joey, are they able to see this right now?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
There, so.
Yeah. So you can look here, and I will try to do my best to supersize it for you guys. So you can see here, these are my numbers for my agency. And these are as of 9/12, so they're only a couple weeks ago, actually about 12 days ago. And this is 53 months I've been doing this. I always tell people if I consult you or help you, I could probably knock that down to probably only 14 to 20 months where you could have these same results because it's taken a while. I've learned a lot. I've got a lot of followers who help push this for me. I've had it's 394,000 in new business social premium, so that's just not premium new business altogether in 53 months, or I wouldn't be in business. That's just from social premium. And then we have 42,000 in new business personal revenue. Usually companies always talk that premium. We as agents always talk revenue. I love when these agents do talk that way, though, Joey. They always try to use premium, and I'm like, you can't spend premium. You know what I mean? The insurance company can spend premium, but not you. Yeah. So, anyways, it's life renewal. Okay, 11,000. Then we've got some stuff down here where we've got total revenue for personal lines, new business, and renewal, and life's $131,000. And we also have commercial revenue, which you can see is $29,000 new business. And I've got a total of about $191,000 in total revenue from new business and renewal, commercial lines, personal lines, life. 98% retention on my social side. The rest of my book has about a 92. That's probably a little high. It's about 91, but I rounded up. So it's my agency. I can make it sound the way I want. Then here's the other things. This is actual snapshot off of Facebook. This is a lifetime. You can see up at the top there. This is a lifetime statistics. It shows that I've done 18.4 million impressions. All these are clicks. This is the thing I always want to show people. I've spent $4,434.95. To be completely transparent, there's an extra $1,700 on top of that because I do some advertising in Grow for some of my personal pages. So it's kind of mixed back and forth. But that's what Facebook shows just for my JDC insurance account. If you look over here, there's 24 cents cost per CPM. That's cost per thousand. And then we have 26 cents cost per click. You can see here that if Facebook will show my ad on an average, it will show it 1,000 times for 24 cents. If you normally see that, it's anywhere between $1 or $2 and per 1,000, which is still a fantastic rate, especially if you're targeting people and only the people you want to see it see it. But I'm able to do it a lot lower because I've just done it for a while and I know the tricks of the trade. Okay, so those are some pretty. Any questions you have about any of that, Joey? There.
No, looks a little confusing, but I think I got it.
I understand, and you know, one of the things we need to talk about one of these days is this right here, Joey. We need to talk about digital Darism and talk about how it's, you know, this is really important, and I'm not going to go into this, but Joey, keep this in mind. This would be good. This is right here was said by it. It's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the ones most responsive to change. Now see, society has confused that for a long time because they say it's the strongest survive, and that's not actually what he says. Now let me get down over here to some other things that I want to show you here to build on what we're doing here, some practical ways. And another thing we need to do is we need to do Insurance Agent 2020. I got so much stuff for you guys. 6 ways to get fans immediately. Invite your friends. Have everybody. You should be inviting all your friends. I say this all the time. If you've heard me say this before, this is a very important concept. When we're talking about getting practical with engagement and actually forming and getting leads in business. LeBron James has friends. And all of his friends are probably his fan. LeBron has a lot of fans, but not all his fans are his friend. I don't want to go in this too long because I could talk about this for about 20 minutes and the importance of this, but I get a lot of agents that say, should I have my friends be my fans? Should I have my fans be my friends? My simple answer without going in depth is it's okay to have your friends be fans. You actually want that. You may not necessarily want your fans to be your friends. There's some horror stories out there that I've heard, and I don't want to say horror stories, but there's been some things that have given the less advantage to the agent because of some of the stuff that their fans, who was a client, may see on the personal page. So you just may want to keep in mind that. Do I have a lot of my fans that are my friends? Yes. But just be cautious of that. Have everybody in your staff at your agency, use them to go to the page, make them an admin, or they don't even have to be, and you can add their friends. Your staff has just as important as a following and network that you want to bring into the agency. At the time of service, like fan page. Are you asking them? They're right in front of you most of the time. Hopefully they're not anymore, but if they are for you agencies out there, are they able to like the fan page? Or ask them right when they're sitting in front of you, would you get your phone out and like our fan page? Would you check in? All they got to do is open up their app, and in the bottom right of their home page of their app is a check-in feature. Keep in mind, you got to have a Facebook page in order to be able to do that successfully. Ask them to write you a review. The thing that's important about check-ins and reviews is Facebook sends it to 60, 70, I've heard up at 80 and 90% of your fans and of their friends. Doesn't post onto their page who makes you the review, but it puts it in their news feed. Sign on the front desk. One thing I see a lot is I go to a lot of agents' websites, they don't have anything on their website connecting their social over there. People, when they come to your website, they may not want to do business with you immediately, but they may want to connect with you. Believe it or not, they do. And email signatures. I see that so much where agents do not put their logos and icons in there. If you get 20 people a year that look at it, that's 20 people a year, and it's someone who's actually getting an email from you, might have more of a personal relationship, more likely to like your page and engage. Very, very important. 5 post types that get engagement. Caption this. Those are really good. Fill in the blank. Whenever you ask somebody to fill in the blank, a practical tip out there, make sure it's no more than 2 answers, and they can think of it immediately. What's your favorite color? Red. okay, as opposed to what's the favorite thing you did on your vacation? Well, I went scuba diving. Now that could be easy, but I went to the botanical gardens. They're not going to put that. You need something shorter. Questions. Ask questions. Once again, one, maybe two-word answers. Pictures and infographics. We all know those are fantastic, but keep in mind it can't be anything serious. And you don't want to do the cats and you don't want to do the babies too much. You want to make it fun. Check out InsuranceSplash.com. They're an awesome Facebook page where you can get a lot of stuff. And motivational pics really work. The last thing I'm going to hit you on is optimizing your Facebook page. Keywords are important when you're filling out your about description, your short description of your Facebook page. Make sure you're using your keywords: auto insurance, business insurance, home insurance. It's a very huge way to use to be able to optimize your page internally with Facebook and externally with Google. I've heard people tell me that Google doesn't check your social platforms and use it as ranking. I call BS on that. If you go to Centralia, Illinois Insurance, which is the #1 most expensive word on the internet, and hit enter, there's a very high likelihood that you're going to see my Facebook page as #1, outranking my web page, which is usually #2. So it does work. Also think of a vanity URL. If you go to facebook.com//JDCINS, that's not necessarily as good as myjdcfanpage.com. I think that's what it is. Right now it's myjdcfanpage.com. Takes you right to the fan page. So these are just some really, really important things that you can do. And here's some things you can do on Facebook, but we don't have time to go into those right now. So when we're talking about getting practical, we want to always make sure that we're going to give you the best right here, because it's what we do. Joey's giving you examples of things he's doing. I can give you examples of things I'm doing. We could go find anybody per platform, and it would work. Here's the key. And my buddy Ryan Hanley says this a lot, and maybe it's kind of hard to understand. Don't say it doesn't work because you're too lazy to put in the work. Very, very important thought. Don't down the work if you're too lazy to do the work. Don't say that the work doesn't work if you're the one not doing the work. And that's what we get a lot. And Joey, your opinion on that. Do you not see that sometimes as a trend with agents out there who want to deny and say this stuff doesn't work?
I mean, they have no idea how it works, so I don't know how they would even come close to knowing if it did work or not. So, yeah.
But Joey, you know, they tried it. I tried that for a couple months. I did that for 6 months. It didn't get any traction.
What I tell people when I talk to anybody about doing any sort of content marketing online, I said, be prepared to spend a year without any results, like dollar amount results. You know, that, I mean, that's just, you need to go into it thinking that. If you have any other expectations other than that, then you're not meant to be in it.
It's very, very true. Very, very true. As I said, I can't attribute a dollar to before 14 months on Facebook. I did have like 600-700 fans though. This is back when no one could create fans. So we were doing things. What were you doing? I was being me. I was just trying to connect with an audience. What would they want to hear about? #1 posting you could ever do, I don't care if it's YouTube, I don't care if it's Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, local. Local and community events are absolutely ginormous. So Joey, I'm going to put this in front of you, man. I think it's time to start wrapping up the Grow Show. I mean, really, you and I have kind of spilled a lot of knowledge here, and we had some pretty good viewers here. We'll go over here and check the questions real quick just to make sure we're not too far ahead of the game. But it looks like looks like that we've got pretty much all the comments. We've pretty much answered or narrowed them down. And I'll kind of leave it up to you to see do you have anything that you kind of want to close out with?
I mean, well, you got me going on this whole like people don't want to do the work thing. So what I'll say in closing, I'll tell you just a quick story of my experience getting started until we actually saw results. So, you know, we started blogging probably in 2009, and I would do it intermittently. You know, I probably had maybe 10 or 15 over the course of 6 months, maybe. And even those were pretty terrible as far as I didn't know exactly what I should be doing. There was no call to action. There was no way for them to, you know, kind of raise their hand and fill out a form to become a lead. And then it really wasn't until we came on board with HubSpot that, you know, they kind of taught us some of that stuff, and we learned how to do that and implement those strategies. And then it really was about a year from that that we actually started seeing people. I mean, I had a few people, I run into a few people here and there, a couple people every now and then just call us, send me an email, say, hey, let's do business. But really it wasn't until the start of open enrollment for healthcare reform last year that things really started to take off. And so it's about a year and a half, that we did this, and there wasn't much of any results. And now, it's not something that's going to happen with the flip of a switch, and you need to have the right expectations going in, because you're just going to set yourself up for failure.
You're right. You're going to be discouraged, and at Grow, we've been known to fire a lot of agents. I got one right now who, I mean, God love him, he's a great guy, but he's been with the program. We just set up his website, got all his social platforms. I mean, it takes 2-3 weeks to do that. We're now a month and a half, and he says, hey, I want to start seeing some return on my investment. And what's amazing, Joey, and amazing to you listeners out there, we had this conversation, him and I did. I mean, we talked about this for an hour, the expectations and what it was going to be, and this is a long-term process. And like, he completely forgot about that in a month and a half. He's got the opportunity to still give us that. We're going to still keep working for him, making him successful just like we do other agents. But it's just really, really hard for us to pull you into more than a couple leads when you're just kind of getting leads at the initial just because you're starting a presence. So just imagine what happens when you keep that presence. And the best way to describe it to everything, to lead back to what Joey says, is think about when you first started your business. When you first started your business and you hung your sign out hung your shingle on the roof, I've heard people say. I mean, and you sat back, unlocked the door, and just sat there. Number one, is that what you did? No, you didn't, because people just don't come walking in off the road for a new business. You have to get out there. You have to get networking. You have to get engaged in the community. You have to let people know that they like, I can't remember what Hanley said the other day, know, like, and it's not trust. It was know, like, and something else he said. You got to get them to know you. And then all of a sudden, what happens after 6 months to a year? Start getting a little phone calls off your awareness advertising you're using. If you start using niche, you're going to have a lot quicker results. Same thing, offline, online, same thing. So you start thinking about that. It didn't take until a year to 2 years before you started seeing, okay, I don't always have to go out and get something. I will get some leads. Now, to grow successfully in the way our companies want, still got to be proactive. But I want you to think in that same mindset, because it's no different. It's no different from what's going on. And I think it was Joey who said it last Grow Show. Why don't we give this same kind of criticism to the newspaper, to the radio, to the billboards? We spend thousands of dollars with them and have for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, not tracking our results we would get, and we're just hoping that it works, because what we're doing is we're doing general awareness, and that's nothing more than branding. That's not sales. This right here can be general awareness, but also can be niche, which means sales. So I think that that's one of the reasons why we need to look at this. Joey?
You know why they don't give it the same criticism? Because it's easy to write a check and it's a lot sexier.
Ah, that's good. Do you see this kind of stuff you get here at the Grow Show? That's unbelievable. That's Joey 101, baby. All right, so Joey, I'm going to close it out. And we've been on this now for about 54 minutes. I think they've gotten a plethora of information, and I hope you have. And if you do watch this, please be sure to post, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Google+. Also, be sure to let us know how we did. And that's really, really the most important. If you would share, if there's anybody out there that you think that we've able to give some practical information to, we encourage you to let them know about this. And we just love the opportunity that you're actually sitting here watching us, and that means something to us. So once again, I'm going to close off by saying that I'm Jason Cass of the Grow Program. Joey?
I'm Joey Giangola with a lot of different things. Giangola Insurance Agency we'll go with.
Yeah, Giangola Insurance Agency. And tell them about that other thing you got. You don't want to tell them right now, or is it a surprise still, Joey?
Oh, no. I mean, I do a hangout show once a week called Fearlessly Questioning, where we take a deeper look at a lot of different things, ask some tough questions every Thursday at 2.
Ooh, every Thursday at 2. Tough questions. Sounds scary. All right, Joey. Well, hey, until next time to everybody out there, this has been The Grow Show starring Joey and Jason. Thanks. Bye-bye.